Whether you're stuck in traffic, hitting the gym, or just winding down, we are here to spill the hottest tea from your favorite Bravo shows. From the wildest reunions to the quietest social media unfollows, we cover it all. So welcome back to Reality TV Podcast and Clips. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Let's get into it on 3, 2, 1.
We have so much to get through today, and I have to say, the tone just feels different this week. It feels heavy.
It really does. It's like the real world is crashing through the reality TV bubble in a really intense way. We're moving from, arguments about room assignments to some very serious stuff.
And nowhere was that clearer than on Watch What Happens Live. I mean, that show's usually a party.
Right. It's Shotskis. It's fun games. But Andy Cohen opened the show with this monologue. It felt more like an editorial from a news anchor.
It was jarring. He was addressing the death of Alex Pretty, the ICU nurse in Minneapolis.
Yeah. And for anyone who hasn't followed this story closely, Pretty was reportedly filming Border Patrol agents during the protests over the killing of Renee Good. And the details of what reportedly happened next are, that's the core of Andy's statement.
Exactly. The reports that Andy was citing said Pretty was surrounded by agents and then shot.
Wow.
And Andy, who, he usually tries to keep his show a politics-free zone.
Right, aside from maybe a few comments about Donald Trump in the past.
Yeah, but he felt he had to speak on this. And he used incredibly strong language. He accused the government of allowing masked agents to, and this is a quote, execute its own citizens.
And then lying about it. That's a huge accusation for someone in his position to make.
A massive one. But what stood out to me was how he framed it. He kept saying, this isn't left versus right.
He didn't want it to be about immigration or anything like that.
No. He made it about truth. He said it's about believing what you see with your own eyes. He even used a term from the housewives' vocabulary. He called it gaslighting.
He did.
He said, on his shows, it's fun and games, but when the government does it to the public about the death of a citizen, that's where he absolutely draws the line.
It's a sobering way to start, but it sets the stage for everything else, because while Andy's talking about that, we have Garcelle Beauvais dealing with police at her own home.
Oh, this swatting story is just terrifying.
And for anyone who doesn't know, swatting isn't a prank call. It's so much more serious.
It's a criminal harassment tactic. Someone calls in a fake, high-level threat, like an active shooter, just to get an armed police response sent to a victim's home. It's weaponizing law enforcement.
And this happened at Garcelle's L.A. home.
Yes. And this is the second time it's happened to her.
No way.
The first time, she and her family were at their beach house, thankfully. But this time, she was home alone.
My God, that is a complete nightmare. What was the specific call they made?
A man called, claimed to be her ex-boyfriend, and said he was at her house with a sawed-off shotgun.
Just, wow.
So police arrive, they set up a perimeter, and of course they find no evidence of a crime. It was a bogus call. But Garcelle said she was terrified. She found it deeply concerning.
Of course. And you can almost feel that weight in her recent comments about the Beverly Hills cast.
You really can. She spoke to People magazine about where she stands with the group, and she specifically mentioned Sutton Strack.
And she wasn't looking to make up.
Not at all. She was very clear. She said she isn't looking for reconciliation and that she feels lighter since leaving the show.
That word, lighter, says so much.
It really does. It suggests the whole environment was just this massive burden she needed to get rid of. Given what she's been through, you can't blame her at all.
It's like a theme today, this heaviness. Because if Garcelle is finding the light, the cast of Salt Lake City is sitting right under a storm cloud. Let's get into that reunion.
Yeah, that reunion set had a dark cloud over it, and it was all about Bronwyn Newport. She announced she and Todd have separated.
And he's not even in Utah anymore, is he?
Nope, he was living in New York. But the reason she gave for the split is so modern. It wasn't about cheating or money.
It was about the show itself.
It was about his reaction to the show. She said Todd started seeing a disseminated version of himself after digging into social media.
Okay, unpack that. A disseminated version of himself.
He basically fell down the rabbit hole. He was reading all the comments, seeing how strangers saw him, and he started to internalize it. She said he was making accounts just to see what people were saying.
So he got lost in his own online reflection.
Exactly. And it changed him in the marriage.
Yeah.
You add that to the pressure from her mom, Muzzy, and, the Mormon lifestyle. The marriage was just getting squeezed from all sides.
It's a lot. And while that was happening, Meredith Marks was dealing with this whole plane ride drama with Brittany Bateman.
The plane ride from Greece. So Meredith's side is that she was just venting. She was sleep-deprived, stressed by production.
But Brittany called it bullying.
Straight up bullying. And Meredith went to extreme lengths to clear her name. She offered to take a drug test.
Not just one, right? She offered to take one every single day.
Every day. She was determined to shut down any rumors. And she even made Whitney retract her pill popper comment. It felt like she was fighting for more than just a storyline.
Definitely. And then Brittany offered that apology at the reunion.
Which Meredith just shut down immediately, called it performative.
But this is where it gets interesting, because after the reunion, Meredith shared something about Sundance.
Yes, so Brittany says, I will never film with Meredith again. But Meredith claims that Brittany's team reached out to her team to get an invite to her Sundance event.
So it's, I'm scared of you, but can I get on the guest list?
That's Meredith's point, exactly. She says it just proves Brittany struggles with the truth and is just performative.
It really complicates the victim narrative. Speaking of complicated, what's going on with Lisa Barlow and Whitney Rose?
Well, Lisa feels like she's being undervalued by her husband, John. She said he's been jabby on camera, like he's trying to catch her out. And she admits she struggles with accountability on the hard episodes. Meanwhile, Whitney is just admitting she messes up a lot, but says her communication with Justin is good. She seems focused on her business.
A good distraction, maybe. And the reunion ended with a toast.
A baklava toast, led by Angie. And Heather Gay said she loves the dark moments with the group.
Of course she does. Now let's switch over to Potomac, because fans are upset about something that was cut from the show.
Yeah, this is a really strange production choice. The trailer teased this very intense scene between Wendy and Eddie Osefo.
About their fraud case, right? The staged robbery accusation.
A huge real-life legal issue. The clip showed them talking about how it was affecting their marriage. It looked so raw.
And then it just wasn't in the episode.
Gone. Fans were so confused why that was cut in favor of, more footage from the Colorado trip. It feels like production is hiding the most interesting part of their story.
It's frustrating because that's the stuff you actually want to see. And speaking of drama, Vanderpump Rules is rebooting, and it's already basically a civil war.
It is. It's the new cast versus the OGs. The new guys, Shane Davis and Chris Hahn, did an interview and literally asked, who is Katie Maloney?
The nerve.
I know. They said they're nothing like the old cast. But Katie's response was perfect. She just commented on the post with one word, losers.
So simple, so effective.
And Sheena, jumped in to defend her. But Katie's reason for not coming back is what's really interesting. She said she wasn't fired.
She just chose to leave.
Yeah, she said she'd already moved on mentally and emotionally before the reboot was even a thing. She felt she couldn't grow in that environment anymore.
It sounds like she outgrew it. Meanwhile, there's another major split over on Summer House. Kyle and Amanda.
It finally happened. But the surprise isn't that they split, it's how calm it seems to be.
They're saying it's easier to get along now.
That's what they claim. They're co-parenting their dogs. They talk all the time. And Kyle used that same phrase Garcelle did. He said, a weight has been lifted.
There it is again.
It seems like keeping up the relationship, maybe for the show, was just exhausting. He said there was no smoking gun, no hate, just frustration.
Well, let's jump into our poopery segment. We've got Dorinda Medley, some icon rankings, and a health update.
Yes, Dorinda was talking about her time on The Traitors and revealed there was this unaired fight she had with Caroline Stanbury.
Why on earth would they cut a Dorinda fight?
Dorinda thinks it was too much housewifery for the show. She said Caroline was being too bossy, and you know how Dorinda handles that. She said, when I'm bad, I'm terrible.
Classic. She also had some thoughts on Michael Rappaport.
Oh, she did not hold back. She called his eating aggressive and a spectacle. She just seemed appalled by his table manners.
But the real tea was when she was asked to rank the Bravo icons. This is going to cause some fights.
Oh, definitely. So first up, she chose Kyle Richards over Lisa Vanderpump.
Okay, controversial start.
Then she picked Karen Huger over Giselle Bryant.
The Grand Dame reigns.
Candy Burris over Cynthia Bailey, which is hard to argue with. Phaedra Parks over Portia Williams. But the real surprise was Salt Lake City. She chose Mary Cosby over Heather Gay.
Mary over Heather. Wow. Heather is the narrator of that whole franchise.
I think Dorinda just respects Mary's chaotic energy. She said Mary's making a run for everyone's money. It's like game recognizes game.
I can see that. Okay, finally, we have an update on Brandi Glanville. We haven't heard from her in a while.
Yeah, and this is a really serious story. She revealed she's been battling a health crisis for 2.5 years. She called it a face parasite. that caused disfigurement.
A face parasite? That sounds like something out of a horror movie.
It's horrific. She said because of the pain and swelling, she became a total introvert. She had too much anxiety to leave the house.
Which for her, someone whose image is so much a part of her brand, must have been devastating.
Exactly. But she finally got a diagnosis from a doctor, and she just debuted a new look on Instagram. She even went to Sundance. She says she's feeling happier and healthier.
That's amazing to hear. It's a good reminder that behind the on-screen drama, these are real people with real scary problems.
And that brings us right back to where we started today's deep dive.
It really does. I mean, you look at all this, Andy talking about government accountability, Garcelle dealing with the SWAT team, Brandy's health crisis. The genre just feels like it's changing.
It's not just a guilty pleasure anymore. The real world has fully broken through. The stakes are political, they're legal, they're medical.
So it leaves us with this big question for you to think about. When these reality stars become victims of serious crimes or vehicles for a political discussion, does that change how we should watch the petty drama?
Are we watching entertainment anymore, or are we just watching a dark mirror of our own society?
It's a heavy thought to end on, but it feels like a necessary one. Thanks for joining us for this intense deep dive. We'll catch you next time.